Value your youth, value your youth. The greatest wealth and strength of a nation is its youth. The greatest wealth and strength of a nation is its youth. Value your youth, value your youth.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, as-salatu was-salamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen. Amma ba'd, fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Was-salatu was-salamu alayki ya Rasulullah, wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Habiballah. Salatu was-salamu alayki ya Nabi Allah, wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Nur Allah. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, Alhamdulillah, welcome to another episode of our silsila, Value Your Youth. And Alhamdulillah, in our previous silsila, we covered regarding anger and the problems related to anger. So anger problems was our last silsila. And in this one, we have another great topic for you, inshallah. And our topic today is regarding bullying. Now, this is a huge topic and a huge problem in our society, especially amongst the youth. Alhamdulillah, we are covering these topics so that you can benefit and learn how to prevent yourself, save yourself from this, save your children from these types of issues which are happening in our society. So continue watching towards the end of the silsila, inshallah, you will benefit a lot from this. And this is not just for the youth, also for those who are parents. It's very important that the parents watch these types of silsilas so they know what's happening in our societies, what's the problems of our society, the things our children can be going through in the youth. Inshallah, you'll able to benefit from this Islam, especially when we have great muballighs. Alhamdulillah, we have Iftihar Bhai and Wasim Bhai with us as well, inshallah, covering and tackling these topics, inshallah. Let's start by listening to a fazila, a benefit of reciting salutation, peace and blessings upon the best of mankind, the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa wasallam. The Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa wasallam has said, undoubtedly, your name along with your identity are presented to me. Therefore, recite excellent salat upon me, i.e. with most beautiful words. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala sallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to recite salutation, peace and blessings upon the best of mankind, the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa wasallam in abundance. So my dear viewers, inshallah, our topic today is bullying, inshallah. Before we go on to our topic, we will inshallah learn and seek regarding the definition of bullying. But I want to refer to a verse of the Holy Quran, which is mentioned in Surah Al-Hujurat, verse 11. O believers, men must not ridicule other men. It is likely that the ridiculed are better than the mocker. Nor must the woman ridicule other women. It is likely that the ridiculed woman may be better than the mocker. Do not taunt one another, nor give evil nicknames. What a bad name it is to be called an evildoer after being a Muslim. My dear viewers, many things can be gained from this blessed ayah of the Holy Quran. And one of the other things is, it's not just men who are warned of mocking others. It is also women are warned of this as well, that do not mock others, do not hurt the feelings of others, do not bring pain to others. And our beautiful deen is always reminding us and teaching us and keeping us safe from this. And inshallah, in our topic today, bullying, these are things which are normally takes place when people are involved being bullied by people. People are taunt, people are called nicknames, and people are mocked at. And inshallah, from this silsila today, we will learn regarding all this. But let's start the definition of bullying. Iftihar Bhai, the thing is, there are some elders who have come from other parts of the world because they haven't seen this in their society, or they're not familiar with this name, they're not familiar what bullying is. A brief definition, especially for the parents and those who are adults, they should be aware what bullying is. They might be hearing this at time to time, but a lot of people are unaware what bullying is. And the effects of this, inshallah, we'll be talking about this also.
Ji Abdul Hanan Bhai, mashallah, very beautifully you started off with the translation of the Holy Quran. which is just it's a lesson for us in itself. And if we take and ponder on this, then these things will be eradicated from our own communities and from our own youth. There are many definitions of bullying, but to break it down and to simplify it, it means if somebody physically hurts you or verbally abuses you, that's bullying. So if somebody physically hurts you or verbally abuses you, this is classed as bullying. So any comment that we do verbally that is affecting the other person, they don't like it. Like you mentioned, name calling, taunting, mocking, this all comes under bullying. Bullying just does not mean that you're hitting somebody or you're striking somebody or you are physically causing them pain. So a lot of the time, even gestures they come under bullying. Somebody doesn't have to speak, but they indicate someone's overweight, or they make someone indicate that he's short. This also comes under bullying. So anything that hurts the other person in any shape or form, this will be classed as bullying. And bullying comes in different ways. Bullying will be summarized. People are bullied because of their appearance, of their size, the way they look. People are bullied because of their ability. Normally in schools or colleges or in the workplace, somebody is less able, they can't do something, then they're bullied. For example, they can't do their maths work, they can't do their English work, they haven't got the ability. The words come across. I don't want to say those words in the program, but these words are said, and they are teased and they are taunted like this because they can't do their work. The bullying can happen because of your religion. We live in the West, and we're mixed in with lots of different people, and people don't understand each other's religion sometimes, so they think it's a barrier. So they make comments regarding your religion, or it could be your race, the way you're from, which country, which area you're from. Even bullying takes place amongst people from the same country. Even though they're from the same country, but maybe different area or different language, and still bullying each other. So these divisions take place. And the basic problem is a lack of knowledge. Really, if you understand it, and you probably went to school with people from different backgrounds, you had friends probably at school that were of the religion or the race. When you understood each other, there's no problem. For myself, I went to school for many years, and we walked to school, my friends, for many years together. We worked in class together, helped each other. We had understanding. And the Prophet ﷺ said to the Sahaba, don't swear at your fathers. The Sahaba Ikram alayhi Ridwan, they asked, how can we swear at our fathers? The Prophet ﷺ said, don't swear at somebody else's father. Because if you swear at somebody else's father, they're most likely to swear back at you. So this is the reason that we are being advised not to do this. And most of these things that take place, we make a comment about somebody else's mother, father, religion, background, then what they're going to do in return, say it back to you. So the bullying, this could be an aspect as well. And we're going to touch and look later on, which is the biggest problem. In the end of this episode, we're going to look more into this, is cyberbullying. So many forms of bullying happen. I'll just mention briefly a few of them, and we're going to try to tackle these issues, inshallah.
Wasim bhai, normally what happens is, when you turn to bullying, when someone says bullying, you normally would think that a child is being bullied or someone in school is being bullied. Bullying doesn't just stop there. It could happen in places of work. It could happen in parks. It could happen, obviously in college, university, school. So all ages people are bullied and people are picked upon. Sadly, it could happen in places of worship as well, that people are bullied in places of worship as well. Amongst places of studies where people are studying the deen, sadly, bullying also can take place in these places as well.
People, when you speak about bullying, majority of the time the mind goes that it's only happening in schools and potentially most likely in primary schools. But it's not the case. It can happen in primary schools, secondary school, college, university, like you said, even in the madrasas, it can happen in the jamias. And not only religious point of view as well, but if you look at it, it can even happen to an elderly person as well. You might have a few people gang up on him and they could bully that person as well, which happens as well, unfortunately, in our community as well. But bullying, mashallah, if the Harbai touched upon it very beautifully as well, the different types of bullying. But I just want to mention that bullying has different types. So for example, it could be verbal. For example, one person swearing out at another person, even spreading rumors as well. This could be bullying. Then the other aspect is physical. Hitting someone, kicking someone, punching someone. This is also a kind of bullying as well. And the other one that is very, very important as well, that probably has the lasting effect, is emotionally as well. This is when you isolate someone, you torment someone, you hide for example, you hide their books as well. These are all emotional bullying as well. And this has long effects as well. But in regards to bullying, the point that I want to mention is that you're bullying someone today. You might think that, okay, we're having a laugh. and we're only probably in school for maybe the next year. It's only going to last for 12 months. But the impact will remain with that person for the rest of their life. You will see this as well. Now, for example, a child is 10 years old. He's being bullied. And according to a survey of the Hanan by that I read, that those people that were bullied, 50% of them said that they were being bullied because of their looks. Now, this has many, many causes. This has many, many effects on that person. But the thing that I want to mention here is that sometimes 10 years time, 20 years time, that person is going for an interview. Now he's lost his confidence, meaning years have passed, but he's lost his confidence. Why? Because 10 years ago, someone said that, look, this guy's got he's got big ears, or maybe his face is not right. Maybe he's got big, all these things. So it has a lasting effect on that person's life for the rest of their life.
So dear viewers, we're talking about, we just learned the basic aspects, what bullying is and who are people who are bullied. There are other things to bullying as well. And a lot of the time this is actually taking someone's rights. You're actually taking someone's rights away from him. And you're a lot of the times, if the hard we've seen that one of the things which involves in bullying, when I was at school, which I saw that they would take money from people. Or they would make someone do their homework. This is like they put burden upon someone, or they're taking someone's right. In this case, they're taking money from them. They're taking their pencils or their pens or things which these people have paid for. Or even sometimes the lunch. The children come to school with their lunch bag and someone else is eating them, or someone else is someone's got a crisp packet, someone takes that off him and starts eating it.
Hanan bhai, bullying, as you mentioned, is that you are taking somebody else's right, but at that age it's very hard to explain that to a youngster. When you talk like this in school or in college, that you're taking somebody else's right, it won't really mean anything to them. They won't have that worry or that concern that I'm taking the right of somebody else. If you explain to them in different ways the effects that it has on people, you bring in front of them a person that's been affected by bullying, this might have a bigger impact on that individual. Because you are right, bullying is very, very hard to detect. Now, somebody's, like you mentioned, somebody's crisp packet's taken, or they're being forced to do something. How do you pick that up as a teacher? How do you pick that up in a school? It's very hard to detect. But there are certain things that somebody's being bullied has an effect on. You can tell why their schoolwork will start to change. In the class,
they'll make excuses not to come to school as well.
Exactly, they'll make excuses not to come to school. Many children that I worked with that were bullied, their parents will say, look, he was happy in school, all of a sudden he doesn't want to go to school. But he won't want to name the bully because he's fear, he's scared that if he does name the bully, then what's going to happen? This bullying is going to worsen. So from having an enjoyable school experience, now the parents can't work out what's happened in a week or 2 weeks, that he was happy to go to school, now he doesn't want to go to school. And even I've come across children of the Hanan bhai, the effect of bullying, they deliberately start to get their answers wrong. Why? Because everybody's calling them nerd, geek, these kind of words. So they're saying, you're the teacher's pet. You get everything right. So deliberately it starts to misbehave.
The one thing here I want to, and for the viewers of Madani Channel, those who are parents are listening as well, I want to, bring their attention towards is, you talked about those, and these are, when you mention the word teacher's pet, these are those children who are intelligent. They don't have a defect. But it's been taken as a way that
it's because of the ability. We mentioned at the start, one of the reasons, it's not always because they're not clever. Those children get picked on and they're easy targets because they don't know how to respond or what to say. But we've seen a lot of the time those children that are clever, intelligent, they're picked on. Why? Because we'll come to this, a bully can't reach their level, so he has to bring them down to his level. And there was a very intelligent student that I was working in one school. He was very intelligent. All of a sudden, it was just totally, not normal for him, that he started to misbehave. And even the bullies that dared him, they said, look, you a SWAT, you a teacher's pet, you don't do nothing wrong, you never get in trouble. He jumped from nearly a second floor building just to impress them. He nearly broke his legs. Luckily he survived, but just to impress the bullies that, look, I'm not always a goody-goody, as they say, I'm a person that could also do this. He ended up doing something so drastic. Also, what happens is that the physical illness that they face, normally a lot of the time that when they are bullied, they can face the physical side. The effects are physical, not just emotional or mental. They might get kicked or punched regularly, and this will happen without the teacher even picking or identifying it. So they're scared because the bully is normally stronger, bigger, and he's physical blows to the body will make that individual scared to be around somebody or be in that area or even to go alone into the corridor or to the toilet by themselves. So this effect takes place on them. And when they're walking home, walking in the corridors of the Hanan, these things take place. So the bullying, it carries on in the classroom, outside of the classroom. And then the worst time when it happens to a lot of the children is that it's in the playgrounds, on the way home on the buses, because there's no staff to turn to. There's no adult to turn to. Who do you turn to when you're in the playground? A lot of the time, the staff are not nearby, or on the bus, there's no one to turn to help you. So the bullying, it continues in that way as well. So a request is that it's for your children's safety, keep a lookout. Keep a good relationship with your children. Try to ask them that, are you okay in school? Everything all right? I'm not saying that lead them into saying I'm being bullied, because a lot of children, they might say, yes, I'm being bullied when they're not. But you have to see the change of pattern, behavior, not wanting to go to school, work dropping. There must be a reason. One reason could be that they are being bullied.
Ji Wasim bhai, you must have seen that these type of people, youngsters have been bullied like this. If the Harbai touched upon it, some of their habits change. And for the viewers of Madani Channel, I think, some of them habits which are changing in their lives, or the things which they are changing from, I think need to be pointed out for the parents, especially those who are watching, or the guardians who are watching. Like for example, a child starts to come home late. Now, if the Harbai mentioned, when they're outside school, it's they know that this is a risky place. Now they could be that if the school has two gates, the gate which is easier to get out of, they're probably taking the other gate, they're taking the longer route home, or they're not catching the bus, they're walking it, or they're going from a different way. And these types of things, you'll find that when the child starts to come home late on a regular basis without a reason, things like, his bag could be getting heavier as well. We've seen that some of the people who bully, they make others carry their books. Those who they bully, they make them carry their books with them. So, these are signs which you will find that maybe, they're having trouble sleeping as well.
First of all, I'd just like to mention, moving on from what you just said, that I know of one child, and he was being bullied. And one day, the bullies, they said, watch what happens at the school gate at the end of the day today. This child, he was literally sweating. He was that nervous of what's going to happen. He was actually fearing his life. And it's mentioned that, he went to, you have a nurse in the schools as well. He went there and he said that I want to go home early. Why? Because I'm not well. So his mom and dad came to pick him up. But that's the reason that why he went home. Why? Because he was fearing his life so much that what's going to happen at the end of the day. But the parents really need to take a look at, and obviously teachers, especially today, are being trained about this as well, how to look out for the signs of children being bullied. But another sign that parents need to look out for is isolation. Now, your child, he used to sit with you. He used to sit with you, used to watch the TV, and he used to do things with you. But now he comes home, maybe he has a quick meal, he straight away is in his room, and all he's doing is just there lying down, or he's sitting down. Straight away, it should be ringing alarm bells that what's happening? Why is my child spending a long time in his bedroom? The other thing is hunger. They lose their appetite because they're feeling so much, they're not eating properly. This is another sign that the parents need to look out, that all of a sudden, your child used to eat so much first, but now he's lost his appetite, he's not eating properly. This is another sign to look out for, that my child is not eating well. And the other one, Abdul Hanan Bhai, as well, is mood swings, emotionally. It could be that the child is upset, but on the other hand, your child could be more angry now. Because he's having so much to deal with in school, he might have a go at the parents. Now, these are all signs as well, because emotionally he's going through a lot. The child is going through a huge amount. So he's going to lash out because he's comfortable with you. He's probably going to lash out more at you. So these are all signs that parents need to really look out that my child is being bullied. Because Abdul Hanan Bhai, the effects of bullying are really, really severe. We're going to be speaking about this as well. But just think about it that 10, 11-year-old child, he's fearing to even go out. Why? Because he's being bullied. But this is what we'll be speaking about shortly as well.
That, before it goes out of my mind, is that there's been many occasions that youngsters have threatened that if you come tomorrow, we're going to harm you, meaning that we're going to stab you, or we're going to do something very major to you in this way. And the youngster, what he ends up doing is to protect himself, he ends up taking something with him. Now, never ever should it be the case that to protect yourself, you're taking a knife with you or taking anything to think that I'm going to defend myself. In this situation, if this has taken place, the first point of contact should be your teachers and your parents. Never ever think to yourself as a youngster that I've been threatened, I'm going to take in a weapon to defend myself. You have to remember it could be a trick of the bullies, that they've lured you in, they're not going to bring in anything. But you get caught with a knife in school the next day. You get excluded. Now your future is gone into your record exclusion, you have to change school. So many students have been trapped like this, that we're going to do this to you, so they bring in something, or they're being told to bring in something, otherwise you'll get beaten up. So tomorrow you need to bring in something, otherwise you've had it. Now they bring something in, and these bullies, they report this pre-hand to the teacher, that the other way around, that he's brought in the weapon to stab us. And many times we have come across this, and then it's very hard to prove the other way around. So the way they lure you in, the way they trick you, the way they make you look like that you actually doing it, which is double whammy, if you think about it. It's a double effect that you're getting bullied in the first place.
Allah.
That's bad enough. And then you made to look like you the actual bully.
Allah.
And you're told to leave school and change school, change your area. All your friends that you've made, you've been told to leave them as well. So many occasions this has taken place as well. So youngsters are out there, it's advised to you that don't fall for this trap. Always, if you are bullied, speak to somebody, don't keep it to yourself. It has a big knock-on effect on your self-esteem, on your confidence, and on your ability to do the work in school.
However, another thing I've seen is sometimes what happens is when the situation you've put forward now, when a person is put in that sort of situation, he might have approached his parents as well. This is another thing that for the viewers of Madani Channel, those who are parents who are listening out there, this is very important. If your child has approached you and he's told you a story, he's told you that this is going to happen to me, a lot of the times the parents sort of just don't take it as serious, oh, someone's tried to beat me up at school, and they say, okay, don't worry, you go in school, because they've got their own work to go to, or they've got their own things to do. They just end up taking the child, dropping him at school, and then continuing on. They don't want to waste a day of their work and maybe go into school and speak to the teacher. So it's important for the parents here as well.
Yeah, Abdul Hanan, a very good point. If they have reported this, don't take it lightly. Don't take it like something, yes, he's telling me another story. Son, you saying, Dad, I'm going to get beaten up. Yes, son, out the car you go, see you home time. And he's worried and scared that something's going to happen to me. I'm going to speak from both perspectives, from the teaching staff, from the staff and schools, the teachers that work in schools, is that if this is reported to staff, teachers in school, then take it seriously as well. Don't say, no, this child's never been bullied. Look at it. Keep eyes out. Try to see. Many times, Abdul Hanan Bhai, I was working in one school, and there was reported that one child being bullied. And we kept an eye on him. I remember keeping an eye on him myself, watching him in the lines, walking, etc. He was the one that was actually bullying the other child.
Allah.
He was the one that was hitting him, kicking him in the line, punching them. He was totally the opposite. But it's very hard to detect. Then in another incident, I mentioned it many times, like, hey, I'm in the middle, I'm a teacher, and you two are students. Now, how are you going to bully each other? It's impossible, isn't it? But what happens is nowadays they have phones and they're sending messages to each other, and the other person's looking, and you as a teacher are sitting there, you don't even realize that you two are bullying one of you is bullying the other. And it was a case in one lesson I was teaching, and two students, they would walk past me. I thought it was normal. They're probably going to sharpen a pencil or pick up some equipment, ruler. They would drop notes past each other. Really cruel words or statements that would be said to each other. And I was only detected after a number of months that what was taking place. Once I picked up a book and the note came out, and I realized that the comments that are being made, so to detect bullying is very hard, especially with the phones, the gadgets, the devices we have today, that bullying could be taking place right underneath your nose as a teacher, and you don't even realize it sometimes. So you have to keep on alert. Teachers turn around, they write on the board. Bullying could take place in that 30 seconds. Bullying could take place while you're sending two people that have gone to the toilet. One child, I remember in school that we worked with, he was a good lad. Home time couldn't find his coat. That flushed it down the toilet. Now, who are you going to blame? Who are you going to catch? I remember going back to our school days. The bullying that took place in PE, they would throw his shoes onto the roof. Now, the rest of the day, where's he going to walk? No shoes to walk with. But who's he going to tell? Who's he going to report it to? There's no one there to listen. And when there's no one there to help you in that situation, then for 5 years you're struggling by yourself. And sometimes 5 years of bullying, do you think somebody can deal with bullying so long? They'll give up eventually. And that's why we hear children end up doing things to themselves or doing things that they shouldn't do. So bullying is a matter which should be taken seriously by every school, by every parent. and they shouldn't brush it underneath the carpet. They should deal with it. We used to have in schools, I don't know if it still happens, bullying week. Bullying week happens once in a year, but bullying takes place all year round. Have options for them where they can write something anonymously, report it, tell you, put systems in place in institutions where they can report it. Otherwise, I've seen personally a lot of children struggle throughout their learning years, and then later on they have low self-esteem, low confidence, and they don't want to go, and they don't reach those potentials that they could have.
Then remember, the other thing that happens as well, you mentioned it earlier on, and if the Harbai spoke about it, is, for example, a child has come to their father. They look, Dad, I've been kicked today, or I've been punched today. That's for example, for that child to come to you, to tell you about this, it's taken courage for him to come to you. But now what he's done, he's come to you and he's told you that, Dad, I've been kicked, I've been punched, or they've done this to me today. But what did you do? Did you punch them back? Did you kick them back? This is what's happening at times in our communities, where instead of helping that child, and this can go to teachers as well, instead of helping that child, what's been happening is that the opposite is happening. Okay, he did this to you, but what did you do back? Yeah, you're a big man, you should be doing this. You belong to so-and-so caste. People like us, we don't step away, we fight back. That's what happens as well. So this is very, very important that, first of all, that child is taking courage for him to come to you. Instead of saying these statements, we should be trying to help that child at that particular time. Giving them advice, maybe going to the school, maybe speaking to the teachers, or doing something about it instead of encouraging him that you should fight back or you should do something back.
The other thing, if the Harbai, I've noticed that sometimes, you might think that the person who's big, we talked about this, and the person who's big, he's the one who's a bully, and the person who's small and short and skinny, he's not the bully. You find out that a lot of the times they say these small little lads, I'm not saying everyone's like this, but the small little lads, they're very cheeky at times, right? And they're the ones who are causing all the problem, and they're the ones who are doing all the bullying. And this big guy who's massive, who looks, very scary, he's the one who's humble, he's the one who's afraid, who's scared.
Straight away came to my mind is that we were in school, I think it was primary school, and a new boy joined the class. And at that age, he was tall as you. And I'm talking at 10 and 11. And mashallah, Abdul Hanbhai is tall. This young man, he came, he was tall. Everybody thought we had it. He's twice the size of us. And he's going to, one kick, one punch, and we can't stand up against him. What happened was that he was one of those that you call a gentle giant. He was so polite. He wouldn't want to hurt anybody. He was scared to even drop something on the floor. Everybody was bullying him. Now, you try telling a teacher that somebody outside that this boy that's a 10, 11-year-old and is a grown man, nearly is tall, that he's getting bullied. People won't believe. And the little skinny one that you mentioned, that's pulling all the strings and getting everybody to do the bullying and to join in with him and to do this laughing. They are the actual ones that are bullying. So bullying, like I said, is very, very hard to identify. We won't have one form that a bully looks like this. We can't, for you to draw a picture or to look at a photograph and say, yes, this is a bully. You can't say that, because boys bully, girls bully. Tall people bully, short people bully. People that are very, very quiet, they will bully, and the ones that are boisterous and loud, they will also bully.
If I just put it in a simple way, if the Harbai, someone with an innocent look like you could be a bully as well.
Innocent look. There's somebody, there could be anybody. Anybody can be a bully in this way. But we think that bullying only takes place in schools and colleges. A lot of bullying takes place, peer pressure in schools. You've worked in different institutions, places. I worked in different institutions and places. Bullying takes place there as well. So it's not the case that we are thinking that only children are getting bullied. In workplaces, people try to put pressure on you. They try to isolate you. And when you're somebody new to the company, they try to make you, not as successful as the others. So it continues. You have to be able to stand up for yourself.
Yeah, I want you to move on to that actually. Going forward with like places of work, where are the places where people are bullied? We've talked about it like in the playground or at school. Then there are many places where specifically people get bullied as well.
There's one research of the Hanan, but it's mentioned that 80% of people that are bullies normally experience it in school. School is where you experience it, but that's not the only place. Normally you can be on a bus and people that you don't even know end up bullying you, making a comment about the way you look on the bus, trying to make
I've seen
say
that
something.
happen.
So a lot of the time, people have a bad experience of catching public transport. Why? Because somebody that you don't even know has come sat next to you, made a comment about you, or they're making comments regularly about you, or making people laugh at you. It could happen on the bus. It could happen on public transport. It could happen walking down the street, in the workplace. It normally happens with places that people that you know very well. Even people that come to your house and your family, which you mentioned earlier, when you sit in a group, they'll target one individual and make a mockery and laugh at him like he's not successful. And he's sitting there thinking, they think it is funny. But he's in fact being bullied in a way. Indirectly, you're mocking and making him feel inferior, belittling him and thinking that, you're not as good as us.
And normally, if the Harbai, Wasiba, we're probably able to speak on this as well, that sometimes a group of friends, there's one individual, they're friends now. These are not someone who is not a friend or who is from another class, or a group of friends themselves. There's one friend amongst them who's bullied by the rest of his own friends. Yeah. And he's just going along with it, and he's going along with that company as well.
Another point that I wanted to mention is in regards to, there was one child that was being bullied. And when he finally had enough, there was one statement that he mentioned, which is a very serious statement as well, if you look at it from the religious point of view, is, why am I like this? Why is my face like this? Why is my eyes like this? Why am I... In other words, they're questioning Allah. So this bullying, the impact that it has in the long term is that when a person, for example, now I mentioned it at the start as well, the majority of the people that have been bullied, majority is because how they look. Now, what do they start doing? Maazallah, they come to a state when they say, Ya Allah, why am I like this? So this is a very, 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 it's a very severe statement if you look at it from the religious point. So those people that bully, or those people that mock other people because of their eyes, their nose, their ears, whatever, you might just be saying a few statements just to have a laugh. But the impact that it will have is that person, whenever he does anything, that would be on his mind. That I used to be, my eyes, they were being made fun of back in the day. My eyes are still like this as well. So that will continue to stay with that person. But the other point like that I mentioned is that when they question Allah, maazallah, this is somewhere that a person should, alhamdulillah, Allah has given us so much blessings. Allah has given us so many bounties. We shouldn't be questioning, we should be thanking Allah. But this is what bullying does to a person, that because so many statements are said in front of so many people, okay, first of all, it might happen that 2 or 3 people, then the whole class knows about it, then the whole school knows about it. Whenever he's going, people are teasing because of his eyes, his ears, his nose, etc., etc. So it's something that, when you look at it in the long term, it has severe effects.
Another thing I've seen regarding bullying, and we want to go on to some other stuff, but these are just to make the viewers and the parents, especially who are listening, to make them aware that what are the sort of things which can make your child be bullied. For example, I've seen that those people who are sort of a bit poor, who don't have enough, you can say they don't have that style of clothing, or the posh or the brand of clothing. They might be wearing normal simple shoes, or if they've got a simple shoes, they say you're wearing chappals, or people make these type of comments as well. And why? Because the standard, the other group is that they've got all designer clothes, they've got good big brands, expensive clothes, and this person walks in with a cheap shoes on, or a cheap jacket which doesn't have a name on there.
Big issue of the number, you hit the nail on the head. Massive problem, huge problem. You don't walk in with a branded logo, jacket, bag, trainers. You've had it in school. You walk in, I'm not going to mention the branded names, but you walk in with something like that, and they're going to make, that's a field day for them. They're going to be laughing, joking at you. So what do children normally do is that they insist, they cry that mom, dad, you buy us these certain trainers which cost £110, £120, and if they don't get them, they don't feel like they're part of the gang or the group. And I remember there was one youngster that was in school, and unfortunately his parents, they weren't wealthy. He had very basic clothes, like just normal shoes, and sometimes he didn't have a change of shirt or blazer at school. And what we used to have in school, which I used to think was the most dreaded day, is used to be called non-uniform day. I don't know if you remember that. It might ring some bells. And I used to think that this is for bullies, this is like a day for them to pick on anybody they like. Why that individual, he didn't have any clothes, so he didn't buy, you have to buy a ticket. £1 to buy. So he couldn't afford that, so he used to come in his uniform.
Yeah.
And there used to be a number of children that used to turn up in their uniform on that day. Now for the bullies, all day, honestly. All day they would take the mick out of them, they would joke with them, they would taunt them, they would make a mockery out of them. That's one aspect. Then the other aspect is those that have changed and come in different clothing. They will start to examine their clothing from head to toe. You know, your father, has he got no job? They use words which I don't want to say. And they'll make these comments to them and make them feel really small. And that person, even though they're wearing decent clothing, it's not expensive, it's not branded. So that way they'll be bullied throughout their school life just because they've not got the clothing which is expensive like the children that can afford it.
MashaAllah, the point that Iftihar Bhai made, alhamdulillah, I just want to touch upon this point quickly. That, you know, those children that can't obviously afford, or their parents can't afford expensive clothing, now they're being bullied at school. Now what's the effects of this? The child then goes home, that father that is working 12 hours a day, 13 hours a day, 14 hours a day at times, why? Just so he can put some food on the table. He can't afford these fancy clothing, but he can put just about food on the table. Then that child is then putting pressure on the father. Now he doesn't look at how much my father is working for me. Then he's putting pressure on his parents, on his father, that look at these rubbish clothes that you bought me. Look at these rubbish things that you have bought me. So all of a sudden, then the child is, you know, fighting with his father that, look, what are you doing? Why are you not giving me this? That father's struggling already. So this is the effects of that as well. But Abdullah, why do bullies actually bully? What's the reason for this? One of the main reasons is that they want authority. You know, they want that sense of authority. They want to make that impact in the school that, look, people, they respect me. I've got control of everybody. You know, this is not how you get respect, by pulling someone down. This is a rule of life as well, that we should be holding someone's hand to bring them up, not, you know, throwing them down. So, you know, those people that want authority, this is not the way to get authority.
Iftihar Bhai, we've talked a lot about just normal bullying, and obviously bullying, we talked about a lot in regarding school and colleges. Obviously bullying does take place at work with elderly people as well, but there's another type of bullying, and in our time especially, which is called cyberbullying. What is cyberbullying? There might be a lot of views out there who are unaware of this. You know, when I first time heard this, it was strange for me as well. What is cyberbullying? Because obviously it's something which I haven't seen. And for the viewers of Madani Channel, this will be very interesting as well.
Bullying to identify, as we've realized, is hard enough. But a new dimension that's been added to bullying is called cyberbullying. And platforms that are being used are the social media platforms, WhatsApp, Twitter, you name it, all these things are out there. Bullies are using this as a platform to make comments. Before bullying would finish, school days finished, at least you got that ease at home. Yes, at least you got that security at home, that no comments are being made, I'm not being kicked or punched. Or holidays take place, you think it's 6 weeks, I don't have to see that fool in the class for a while. It's a bit of relief. But now what's taking place is that you turn on your WhatsApp, you turn on your Facebook page, etc., and there's comment after comments about you.
So this is all happening on the net.
All happening on the net. And it's having such an impact on the individual that it's even led to suicide. It's even led to individuals taking their own life. Why? Because bullying may have taken place. If someone makes a joke in the class, 30 people laughing, 25 people laughing, which is bad enough. But now you're looking at thousands of people seeing that comment throughout the school, throughout your area about you. They might have taken a picture of you, edited it, made it look like you're wearing girls' clothing, for example, or they've made a video of you doing something and they've uploaded that underneath. Everybody's making comments. Now you walking into school without realizing, you haven't checked your social media, you're walking through the gates, everybody's laughing at you. Now imagine that, people just laughing at you,
and you don't know.
You don't even know why they're laughing. What's the reason for it? Just groups of them sniggering at you, making comments. And it's very, very hard to handle. Even for a person that's very strong within themselves, it's very hard to handle such a situation like this. So cyberbullying has now reached a stage where children are being bullied consistently. And this bullying is taking place, even like I mentioned, within the classrooms, within the school day. Even though the bully is not in the classroom, they're making comments on their phones, they're sending these messages to others, and the person doesn't know how to deal with it. So again, a request is that to schools, to parents, make your children aware. and your students aware of how to deal with these issues, so they have doors and people to turn to when they do, or if they do come across this situation.
And actually social media sites, what they've actually done now as well is that a report button, because it's been happening for so long that if you are being bullied online, you can actually press on this report button and report it online as well. But you know what, if the Harbai just mentioned that it's completely different now. Like probably 10, 15 years ago, what used to happen, the maximum, a punch here, a kick there, maybe the money was taken off them. But now it's, when a child used to go home in the evening, as soon as they pass those school gates, that's it, I'm free for the next 16, 17 hours, I've got nothing to worry about. But now it's with them in their home, it's with them in their beds, they're going to sleep, it's with them as well. So it's completely changed it. And Abdul Hanan Bhai, this even happens on gaming sites, this happens even on the game consoles as well. It's continuing basically. And the other thing that's happening at this moment in time is, if the Harbai will speak about this as well, is that they will either hack the person's account and start then posting stuff online, then people will start thinking that he's put this on. But the other thing that people are doing at this moment in time is that they make fake accounts. For example, one person's got an account, that same profile picture, they'll make a brand new account and they'll start posting stuff, and then that will go around the whole school again. That will go around the whole college as well. That look what he posted. He doesn't even have a clue about it. But this is another thing that's happening, that they're hacking, they're using their identity, and then obviously they're putting all this wild stuff online about them.
So, dear viewers of Madani Channel, this is some of the things which we talked about bullying. Although this is a very big topic, sadly we don't have much time to talk further about bullying and how these sort of bullyings take place. But we want to turn towards those who bully and those who are involved in bullying others. What will be their result? And there's a hadith in the Sahih of Imam Muslim. The beloved Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wa sallam has said, "You people will have to restore the right of the sufferer. Even the horned goat will be avenged from the hornless goat." Now those people who are bullying and those who are listening, those viewers who are listening, and if you are involved in bullying, keep in mind that today you might think that you've got away with it, but on Yawm al-Qiyamah, you will get caught for this and you will have to pay back for every right of another you have taken. And it's mentioned in another hadith of the beloved Prophet sallallahu ta'ala wasallam that it is not permissible for a Muslim to point at another Muslim with the eye in such a way that hurts him. So my dear viewers, avoid this type of behavior where you are picking on others, where you're hurting the feelings of others, because on the day of judgment you will have to give an account for it. If the Harbai sort of coming towards the end of our episode regarding, how will we be able to give an account on the day of judgment for the things which we have done wrong, the rights which we have taken of others, those who have bullied others, what will be their result?
Remember, there will be many people that will come on the day of judgment with many good deeds, that has brought so many good deeds, but he's violated the rights of others. He's hurt somebody, he's hurt their feelings, he's said something wrong to an individual. Now on the day of judgment, they're going to take your good deeds, your hajj, your salah, the good things that you've done, just by violating their rights. So now's the time to apologize to them, say sorry. And the other thing that I mentioned to you is that we all in classes, in workplaces, that when comments are made, don't laugh. You also got a share in the bad. You don't want to have a share in that bad. When a message is sent to you and it's a message that is making mockery of others or insulting others, delete it straight away. Why? Because I'll just put this question to the viewers, is that if that person takes their own life and you are that individual that also forwarded these messages or used to laugh at class at them or used to laugh with the bullies at them, then you also got a share in this as well. So make sure that you don't be part of it in any way. When they do make comments, try to defend him. We used to have lots of friends in schools that used to look out for us. Let's be those people that look out for others and protect them and stop the bullying rather than spreading it.
You were seen by some final words.
Abdulhamid, what I would like to say is that, sometimes there's a group of people that are bullying one individual. But in that class or in that room, there's one person with authority. That one person says that, oh look, don't say this to him. Don't say this to him. that changes the whole ball game. So sometimes, there's people, there might be someone watching, in your class or in your room, there's people saying something to one individual. You've got authority, there's a few tough people that people follow them and people listen to them because, they're tough people. If you stand up for that person at that time, you could say, the words, at times you could save their life as well. You could save them from their difficulties as well. So, when something is happening like this, like if the Harbiter said that, first of all, don't laugh. Don't contribute to that. But if you're a man of authority and you can try to stop that, then stop that as well, inshallah. But the other thing that I would just like to mention, that you spoke about the end for a bully. According to research, those people that bully other people, they have issues throughout their life, such as depression, anxiety. Why? Because during that time, they had this buzz. This gave them a buzz that, look, I'm picking on this person. Now, for example, they've gone to college. Now they're trying to find people. They can't find people. Now they're thinking, why can't I bring someone down? This is what used to make them feel good about themselves. But because they haven't got anything, they're feeling the anxiety. Sometimes people even go into depression as well. So the end for a bully in this world is not good, and especially in the hereafter as well.
So, dear viewers, alhamdulillah, we've talked regarding bullying and how bad bullying is, those who are involved in bullying. And I just want to end here with the hadith of the beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You being a Muslim, and the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam said, a Muslim is the one whose tongue and hands other Muslims are safe. So don't be the one who is bullying, and save others from being bullied. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to keep ourselves safe from being bullied, and also help others who are being bullied to save them from this problem. And inshallah, when we will help others in this way, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help us on the day of judgment when we will be in our difficulties. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to act upon what has been said, and inshallah take lessons from this, take heed from this, inshallah. And don't forget to join us in our next silsila, inshallah, and continue watching Madani Channel. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad.
Value your youth, value your youth. The greatest wealth and strength of a nation is its youth. The greatest wealth and strength of a nation is its youth. Value your youth, value your youth.